Ricochet, who I wouldn't say is over mainstream, but he's been a solid worker, mechanic for WWE. Wrestled Logan Paul, didn't really make him more popular, but I'm sure he got a good payday over it. Apparently, his contract is up soon, and he has given his notice to WWE that he will not be returning when his contract is done at some point this summer. My only thing is, and I like Ricochet, I've interviewed him. Here's a picture from just before I started the interview with Ricochet, his ex-girlfriend at the time, Tessa Blanchard. The only thing I would say is Ricochet going to make any difference in AEW? I'm sure Tony Khan will pay him. He likes smaller guys that slap their legs a lot and do flips a lot. Ricochet's way better than a lot of the guys they have. But just to get an idea of how tall he is, like, look how short he is. By the way, that interview's in the description of this video if you want to see it. And I like him. He's a great guy. I would hire him and get rid of a bunch of your other guys. But is another small guy going to make any difference in the rating? Obviously, AEW will offer him more than WWE if he's going to switch there. But will he make any difference in the ratings? You fans could tell me in the comments. To me, it's just another guy. But I do agree. I would hire him and just get rid of a bunch of other guys his size that aren't as known. I'm not saying not to hire him. I'm just saying it won't be a ratings boost. Tom Lawler, who I have wrestled before, has officially challenged Bryan Danielson to an MMA fight. Danielson recently said that he would be very sad if he died without getting into another real fight. And Tom Lawler responded that he's officially challenging Bryan Danielson. Tom Lawler, former UFC fighter. Bryan Danielson, I don't know his fighting background. I've I'll give him the benefit. I've read his book, but I don't recall much about his fighting background. I have nothing against him. I like him, but I would definitely say Tom Lawler would win that. And it would be if I was like Saudi Arabia, that might be some place that would pay a lot of money to have a fight like that. I don't know if MLW would allow that fight to happen in AEW if AEW wanted to have an MMA fight on a pay-per-view. That would be interesting to watch. I would watch it. That would make me want to watch the pay-per-view, to be honest with you. I'll show you this choke that Tom Lawler did to me. And every time I would let go of his legs, every time I would let go of his legs, the choke was like driving my Adam's apple right into the back of my throat. I did end up beating him, by the way, there. He couldn't quite finish me off, but the choke, I mean, let's just skim back for a second. You can see me grab his legs because when his legs are hanging and he has that choke in, like when I first stand up, this choke, you can see me like grabbing his legs because the choke was just driving my Adam's apple back into my throat. And here's a piece of trivia. The famous interview I did with Paul Hellyer, which has been featured in many documentaries. Gaia bought it, and some of the clips on it have millions and millions of hits. After that match with Tom Lawler in Montreal, I drove straight to Toronto and did a 7 a.m. interview with Paul Hellyer. Yes, that was quite a night. It was a very fun series, a couple of days. I had a big match the day before that, too. But all I'm saying is Tom Lawler knows how to apply a choke. I don't think it was his fault that he had it in so tight. I think he had it on, and this was just when he was just starting pro wrestling too. And just when I stood up, before I had a hook on his legs, all of the pressure was going in and driving my Adam's apple back, and it literally hurt for 2 or 3 days after. So he's got my respect. I actually like him. He's a really nice guy. MMA fighters in general are nicer than wrestlers, but he's a good wrestler. I would wrestle him again, and who knows, I probably will one day. But my money would be on Tom Lawler. He has more to gain by beating Bryan Danielson. It would make him more famous in wrestling, and he has the experience factor. So there you go. AEW, as far as I was listening to Wrestling Observer today, he's saying Dave Meltzer was saying because AEW has not been doing great ratings lately, it actually matters a lot more than ratings would matter if they didn't have a new TV deal. Right now, they don't have a new TV deal in place, and they're getting not so great ratings. MJF got them up a little bit this week with his return. Will that be sustained? I mean, one thing they could do to get the ratings higher, at least temporarily, is bringing Becky Lynch. A lot of people are saying they should do that, including me. And I don't like a lot of the stuff that AEW has done, but I want them to do better because it's good for me and it's good for the wrestling business. And I don't like WWE just to be totally dominating and crushing them. I actually want them to do better. That's why I would suggest that they hire Becky Lynch. And I would suggest to Becky Lynch to go to AEW. She's done it all in WWE. Go back to WWE after, you'll be a bigger star. Dave Meltzer also said on the Wrestling Observer Radio, New Japan has no marquee stars right now and is not hot at all. Everyone who has not re-signed in both AEW and WWE, all the people that are free agents are about to be like Ricochet, Natalia, Becky Lynch, and others are testing the waters, talking to both sides before they decide where to sign.